Wow.
You and I connected in social media because your video went viral.
How old were you when you made your first million?
Honestly, that was not too long ago. That was actually like maybe 10 years ago. But
I'm coming out to nothing. I'm coming to a world that has no concrete on the floor for me.
You know what it's like not to have nothing. You know what it's like to be broke. You know what it's like to lose everything. I think a lot of people who are in the tech world, they don't come from where you and I come from.
Show me a CEO that's Latino in the tech industry that became a billionaire. I haven't seen it yet, but I will be that person.
Welcome to the King's School Podcast. My name is Raul Villacis, and today we have a very special guest, Hugo Sánchez. Hugo, thank you for being on the podcast, brother.
No, thank you for inviting me.
You and I connected in social media because your video went viral. So I'm going to ask my team to put that video here because it's interesting how opportunities present to people who get ready for the opportunities. Because that interview that I'm talking about, it wasn't meant for you. It was meant for the guy in front of you.
Yeah.
So that guy hesitated and you were ready, man. You stepped in and you took advantage of the opportunity. So I want to ask my team to put it right here so they understand what we're talking about.
Sir, question for you. Real quick, for 30 seconds. I have one of the biggest business media channels in the world. We got 11 million followers.
you really don't.
Wait, right here, let me get you. Can I get you? Let me get you. How old were you when you made your first million?
Honestly, that was not too long ago. That was actually like maybe 10 years ago. But then it switched. I sold everything and now I'm starting over with an app.
Actually.
So you gotta have some balls to do this shit.
So what line of business were you in?
I used to be in the dry cleaning business. I had 10 dry cleaners.
You had
in
10
Williamsburg,
dry
Brooklyn.
cleaners.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So walk us through a little bit of what happened in that situation.
So, you know what was funny? I was heading to FinTech. I'd actually had an interview with FinTech. We were gonna do an interview on my app. And I'm a person, if you're early, you're late. So I'm on my way early, shooting through the city. It was cold. As we're going in, the gentleman in front of me, I think he worked for one of the news channels. He just didn't want to be bothered. But I heard the gentleman and I actually follow him on Instagram. And so I tried to tell him, hey, this kid is the real deal. Like, he's the real deal. Take the interview. I can't say what reason he had, but he just didn't want to be bothered. He went in. So the young man asked me, and I was like, oh, I'm in. A lot of people for a minute, a lot of people thought, was that planned? I said, would I be wearing that goofy hat? Would I have been wearing that goofy hat my grandmother's hat if that was planned? I would have went fully dressed. But if you're gonna ask me about something I have experience in, I don't care when you ask me.
Man, that
I'm
video
ready.
was dialed in, man. And it went viral. Right now, it's about almost 20 million views right now.
Probably a little more.
30 million
Probably
views.
a little
And
more.
the reason I believe that video went viral is because you were real. You were authentic. You were not trying to make shit up. You were like, man, here's who I am. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what I believe. And the guy was shocked. He was like, man, this guy, that's why people probably think that it was set up because you were on it. You were on it.
And that's the funny thing. I had about 50 of my own friends. They said, come on, bro. You're telling me that he was just there? He was there and it was not for me. That's not that, but that gentleman always sets himself around Wall Street, around places where there's millionaires. And so I think him coming to me and understanding that I wasn't that guy that's a billionaire, I'm just a regular guy trying to do it, trying to make it there, it made more sense to him.
Yeah.
And he had called me that Sunday. So to give him a little more content, what happened, that Sunday he was gonna put up 2 videos, one of a celebrity or mine's. And he said, there's something in my heart told me to put yours up because Sunday's a big day in my Instagram. Then he called me at 3 a.m. And I'm like, is this kid okay? And he was like, this thing is at 3 million views.
Wow.
So I didn't know how to look at it. I said, no, I don't see it. He goes, no, tap on the thing again. I was like, 3.5. I was like, wait, it's only been 6 hours. He goes, this thing is gonna go. I'm like, what just happened here? He goes, because you were just you. It's important for people to understand whether you're ready for an interview or ready for anything in life, always be you.
100%.
Don't sell something you're not, because you know what? How do you keep up with something you're not? Plain and simple, if it comes to dry cleaning, you're not gonna beat me. Not there. I'm a regular guy. I did that for a living. I know how much it makes. I know the margins. And I know I can look at a block and know if it's gonna fail in that particular business. I'm not saying all business, but if it's dry cleaning or exterminating, which I did both, that you're not gonna beat me on. I figured out the niches to those things and I'm really good at it.
So let's talk about that in your beginnings because that video went viral and that's probably why God put him in your life because you're ready for the next level. Like you're ready for that. So I don't believe in coincidences. I don't believe that you and I connected over a DM, said, hey man, great job. And you hit me up right back and then we connected. You come into the leadership summit. We're doing some business together. It's not coincidence. It's not coincidence. It's God putting the right people at the right time.
And Latino.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, and at the end of the day, it's a bonus that we're Latinos, and now we can inspire other Latinos to actually get out the shell.
I don't see a lot of Latinos doing big things. It's not, okay, that's not the bar while you work with somebody. You being Latino can't be the bar. You still have to have a great product. You got to have purpose in life. You got to have your faith, whatever your faith is, but you got to have faith because 90% of your life, your faith is what's going to get you through that. So I say to people, I don't tell people, download the app because I'm a Latino, because the app still has to be what it needs to be. It needs to do the job it needs to do. But knowing also that the app is incredible and I am Latino, that's the reason you support me. Because there's not, show me a CEO that's Latino in the tech industry that became a billionaire. I haven't seen it yet. But I will be that person because I stand on my feet and I will not bend the knee until I make this $1 billion company.
So that's why I wanted to talk to you, because that belief system. I mean, for the audience that doesn't know you right now, tell them a little bit about right now what you're working on, and then we'll go back into what got you here. So what is the app and what's the purpose of the app?
So I had an idea for an app, and I had called two of my friends that are from Brooklyn. I said, hey, I'll be willing to sell all my dry cleaners and only sell them to my employees. I will not sell it outside of my employees. They got me there, they should keep them. Even if they don't have the money, they could pay me in pieces. I'm okay with that. If I could get the money, the first round of money, will we build it? And I told them it was an idea about recording, and they were like, we can build that. I said, let's all become the founders. Well, I'll put the money, but we'll split it evenly. And they're like, okay, we're in. And we started this journey 7 years ago.
So 7 years ago, you had the idea, you had a vision.
And
you were never in tech before.
I don't even know how to work my iPhone.
You went from dry cleaning to a tech company.
He just showed me how to turn off my ringer. I don't even know how to work my iPhone still. But having an idea and hiring smarter people than you is the idea, right? You don't have to be the mechanic, but you have to find a good one to fix your car. So, and I got two amazing mechanics, and they're my partners, and they believe in me. So just being also a founder is not the thing. If your partners don't believe in you, you've already lost. You've lost.
Yeah.
And it's understanding that is the process. And then understanding where you came from to where you're at, it's also a process for them to absorb and say, he's been through the worst in his life, he's been through the best, he's battle ready. He can hold up under any conditions. Yeah. And that's important. And here's the scary part, right? You go to raise money, right? And you raise $1 million. You can't take the knee down. You have a responsibility to your investors. You don't get to say you're tired. Some of those people took that out their savings. That could have been their house. I raised $1 million with strangers and friends. I don't get to take a day off because they took money out of their savings, their account, their 401, whatever they took it out. They say, I believe in you.
You know why? Is because you came from nothing, okay? And you know what it's like not to have nothing. You know what it's like to be broke. You know what it's like, to lose everything. I think a lot of people who are in the tech world, they don't come from where you and I come from. They come from families that already have everything, right? So tell us a little bit about like where you come from, like what got you like off the podcast. We're talking a little bit about how you took a $5 an hour job, and that was your first job making $5 an hour. So give us a little background.
I was born in Puerto Rico, and I was there till I was about 14 years old. So I come from a little caserío in Bayamón. It was like murder capital of Puerto Rico. To make it out alive, that was winning. If you left there alive, all my friends that I grew up dead, either gunned down, murdered, nothing of peace, of old age. I got lucky. My mother said, "Now you're coming back to New York." Did it make it better? No, I got trouble. I got in trouble here. I got in bigger trouble here because what I learned over there was so much easier over here to do.
It's proximity.
Yeah.
It's now you have a bigger pond. And now
you come from Puerto Rico, you come tough. Yeah. Nobody's scared of you. People scared of you. They're like, okay, this guy is kind of ruthless. And then losing my life, and then my mother dying, the switch. There has to be a switch, in your mind that says, at what point do I change? What point do I decide that I want to be different? Lose your mother and your father, and I guarantee you that switch hits. It's literally like losing your child. It's like losing something that you leaned on this. I'm going to be okay. I got my parents. If anything else, but lose them both.
So when you lost your parents, that's the moment that you kind of strain up and you were like, man, like I'm going to,
I said, I'm coming out to nothing.
Yeah.
I said, I'm coming out to nothing. I'm coming to a world that has no concrete on the floor for me.
Yeah.
How do I change that? And I took my first job at $5 an hour as a plumber's helper. I was literally the go-getter guy. I had no skills in plumbing. So I get the tools, I bring the trucks, all the ugly shit, the guy, that was me. I did all that. I was a big guy, I was strong, I was a perfect helper. But that wasn't my choosing, that wasn't my life. I didn't sit there and say, this is my end all, this is what I'm, no way. My mind was planning. I saw a world, nobody wanted to work. I saw a world full of entitlement.
That's an opportunity.
I tell people one thing, you don't have to be the smartest, but you're gonna have to be consistent. People are gonna have to be able to rely on you no matter what. They're gonna say, no, he'll finish. He'll finish. I know if anything I know about that man, he will finish that job. That's the key, have consistency. Your word is everything. And if you break that, you have no values.
What I call is reputation. Like your brand is your reputation.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of people, especially men now, they're no longer their word. Their word is meaningless. Like they say, I always tell people, if you tell me you're gonna show up, if I tell you I'm going to show up, I have to be either at the hospital or something has to happen to me if I don't show up. But if I tell you I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna be there.
We had a 1 o'clock, I was here at 11. 2 hours early.
Right.
I was parked in the corner. I bought my pass early. I said, no, I'd rather be here real early than real late. Why? You came all the way from Connecticut for me. That's important to me. You made the effort to give me a chance to get my brand out. Who am I to be late?
Because you value other people's
100%.
time. And I think it starts with your work ethic, right? So now you were hungry, but you're only making $5 an hour. Okay. So what happened? Tell us a story about what happened next.
One of the owners of the building was walking through this project was going really bad. I mean, this project was going left. Imagine a project, you don't even have the framing up yet, the walls yet for framing, and they're ordering faucets and sinks and toilets. These things are $3,000, $4,000. People are moving walls 3 inches to the left because it's convenient to them because they put the pipes wrong at the bottom. And one of the owners came up one day and just sat on the floor, literally it had to have been a $10,000 suit. And I'm all greasy with pipe and all this. And they're like, Hugo, can I ask you a question? I said, what happened? He said, what do you think about this job? I said, to tell you the truth, I don't get paid enough to give advice on this. He said, no, seriously, what's your advice? I said, this is the worst job I've ever seen. He said, excuse me? I said, I'll give you a prime example. Sheetrock weighs 90 pounds per sheet. We have 300 sheets in the middle of this room. What makes you think those joists can take that? Instead of this being in the middle of the room over the long joists, not the expansion. I said, this is gonna go through the floor one day and it's gonna kill people. I said, why would we have $3,000 shower heads? I said, they're gonna get stolen. You know who's gonna get blamed? Probably guys like me. I said, why do we have anything to do when we haven't even finished framing? We haven't pressure priced the plumbing. And I just walked into some stuff. Next thing I know, I wound up working with it. Now I'm getting paid $1 million a year.
So you went from $5 an hour to getting paid $1 million a year
as a project manager
that you bring in.
And it was a combined pay. So every owner owned the floor, and every floor was 10,000 square feet, and it was 200,000 square feet they were building on. So it was divided $5,000 per floor per apartment, and all the mechanicals were in the middle. They needed somebody that actually would say, this doesn't work. Let's make this work. And this wasn't about being an architect and engineer. This is about looking at something and say, that door is not going to open completely because there's a wall there or there's a pipe there. Yeah. So why are we putting a door there? So it wasn't about being the smartest guy. It's saying like, how's this going to work? Just let's look at this, everybody. This does not work. Can we get the engineer in here? Can we get the architect to redo this and put a change order?
A lot of people will be in that position. They don't want to speak up because they're afraid of being criticized or they're afraid of what people will say. I think that's what, you stand out because you keep it real. I mean, going back to the interview, you were not afraid to say, hey, here's what I did. So that started from the beginning. You were that version of you, that person. Say, hey, I'm going to tell the truth. Whether you like it or not, I'm going to be honest with you. Because if you lead with truth, man, you don't have nothing to worry about. Because the truth is the truth.
If you want to be in a space where people are going to see you and you have to speak, right? You ever heard that saying, whatever don't come out in the wash comes out in the rinse?
Yeah.
If you're not that person, I will never change.
Yeah, eventually you're going to get caught.
You're going to say, you're very contradicting of what you say. I'm not trying to be a billionaire because I want a yacht. First of all, I get seasick, so I can't even be on a boat. Honestly, I can't even be on a boat. I get dizzy. But the truth is, I want to be a billionaire because I think Latinos deserve a space and somebody they can look at and say, if that guy did it, and never went to school, there's no way I cannot do it because I have a master's degree or I have a college degree. But whatever it is that you have, don't let it be the baby of education because I don't even have a GED.
Yeah, that's what I always say. You could either be a reason why people do something, or you could be the excuse. You don't want to be the excuse.
Absolutely not.
You want to be the reason. The reason people say, well, if you could do it, I could do it. So what happened after getting paid $1 million a year? How did you get into the dry cleaning business? How did
That's
you choose
even,
that?
even more funny. If I tell you that, you're not going to believe that. So I was required to wear suits. That was the goal. My company said, they ordered
As
me
a
like
project manager.
Yeah, they said, I'm sorry, you don't get to come in sneakers and jeans. You represent 6 or 7 owners, and you have to be in suits. I said, okay. So they got me the suits. I have to put them in the cleaners. So every week, my cleaning bill was like $700. I was like, I'm at Costco with my wife one day, right? And I see the guy that actually presses and cleans. Not the owner, but the actual worker. His name was Danny. And I approached him. I said, hey, Danny, can I ask you a question? He said, what is it? I said, I'm not trying to be nosy, but how much does it to clean a suit? How much is it? He said, $3. I said, excuse me? He said, it's $3. It's $1.50 for the pants, $1.50 for the blazer. And I said, how much is the shirt? He goes, about 40 cents to the hanger. I'm a numbers guy. My mind started going. I was like, you think you could find me a factory with all the equipment and I'll give you 15% of the business and you'll become my partner? He's like, I know a woman that's selling one right in Brooklyn. It has the Unipress. The Unipress is a shirt machine. It has a perk machine. That's the machine that cleans silks, blacks, and all dark colors. White colors, believe it or not, that goes in a washing machine. And then it gets pressed by machine, not by hand. I said, and those are the margins. He goes, 100%.
Wow.
I went to a lady. I said, I want to keep your team, and I'll buy you cash. I'll give you $500,000. She was ready to retire. I gave her $100,000 more than she was expecting, and I kept the team on. And they were her nieces. I mean, these women, oh my God.
They work hard.
Undefeated. They used to throw me out. They're like, get out. If you're going to give too many orders, get out. But then I said, wait, I have 4,000 square feet, and we're serving the community. No, I live in a doorman building. There's people dropping bags and bringing their laundry down. I said, we need to, and then I saw a bunch of small cleaners that didn't have equipment. I was like, where are they going to get this stuff clean? But the problem with dry cleaning is it requires a tag with a serial number on it. Your eyes can't take that. After a while, you can't even read it. So I beat the system. I made every cleaners change the color of the tag that it prints. That means my cleaners was blue, yours could be yellow, purple, whatever color you want it to be, it just can't be a color that I already had on the chart. Because when we're separating clothes,
You need to know. Yeah.
we do by colors.
Yeah.
So once they're clean, if we know the purple company, which is Bob's Cleaners, they come first, they come at 3 o'clock to do their pickup, we pull all the purple tags out first. Then we sort out by numbers. Because the tags are hanging.
Got it.
So like 3 shirts, 4 pants, we already know. If this one ticket says a skirt, we go to the ticket that says pants and then we match the number. Very comfortable to the eyes. I was doing 15 cleaners.
Wow.
Plus my personal 12. That's 27 cleaners a day.
So you saw the opportunity. You saw there was a need in the market. You saw the system, and most important, you figured out how to make it
scale
better.
it. I found out how to scale it, what people didn't do. I even got a contract with the Susan Lee Komen Foundation for Cancer and created an online one that was called Faith Cleaners, Fighting Cancer One Shirt at a Time.
Wow.
And all the proceeds will go to them. You know how well that cleaner did? Almost beat my cleaners out. Because people have a heart for things like this.
Yeah.
And when they
It's
saw
emotional.
that, and then when they saw 40, 50% of that money was going back to them, I was the first cleaners to be able to use their logo, be licensed to use the Susan, and all this because I just thought of different colors. I said, it can't be hard to do. This is just a color thing.
And nobody thought about it before.
I've had cleaners pay me $100,000 to teach them how to do it. But they had apps. And when I saw that, I knew I was in trouble. As soon as I saw a dry cleaning app that you could even put the tailoring in there, I was like, this is my competitor for real.
So that's when the idea of being in the tech world started. Like
That's
you start
triggering things in my mind about tech. And I saw that, I was like, if you could put a cleaners in an app, most mom and pop cleaners are out of business. Because now you don't have to call for a pickup. Person doesn't have to walk 5 blocks. You could request a pickup. You could tell them, hey, I'm missing a button here. It's in the bag. Put it on the shirt.
So technology is what's disrupted the industry.
It's disrupting every industry. Think about it. I could write a letter now on ChatGPT and make it look like I got a 4 master's degree, and I don't even have a GED.
And that's where people need to catch up, because a lot of people are scared of AI, but the reality is that AI is a tool.
And AI can't take your job, but it will if you don't improve in it. You don't use it to improve your job. So the reality is we're studying human connection. You're not going to talk to an AI, a psychologist. I can't do your program because your program is brotherhood. The app gives me accountability, but you need me physically there to guide me through stuff that needs physical us together to talk.
It's a connection.
That connection of a man. That's
AI
why I
can never
love what
replace
you
that.
have, because men don't have a place to go. If a man wants a place to go, they have to go to Boy Scouts, because that's the closest thing for men.
Yeah. Or the army.
Or the
army.
And in the army, they got a program.
Yeah.
They don't care about your feelings.
Exactly.
Where there's that midway where if a man goes with you, may have money and fractures, you can help those fractures in him. Because money is not the end all. You get a lot of fractures getting there, and there's nothing for a man to heal him.
You know what it is, Hugo, is that we were talking about it before, we've been conditioned just to position ourselves as that, yeah, I make all this money, I'm successful, and then you put all this armor, but then you take out the armor, you have all these wounds, all these unhealed wounds that you have.
Not a stitch on you, you're bleeding out in armor. When you take it off, it's a bloodbath of blood. Why? Because nobody told you, hey, it's going to be okay. Hey, it's okay to cry. It's okay. Nobody tells a man it's okay. But
Men's
ask a
mental
woman,
health right now is a crisis.
You know why?
It's a huge crisis.
And you know why women will do better than men always? Because a woman can call another woman and she'll cry with her. She'll sympathize with her. You call another man right now, I tell you, my wife has a friend. Don't even worry about it. It's not a big deal. You get another girl. Men don't need that. Why don't you tell a man, come to the house. Let's see how we could get your wife back. Let's see, let my wife talk to her.
Yeah. There's no standard of helping another man deal with the shit.
Zero.
And then that's what we hide. That's what we hide. And then, part of one of the things that I do with the guys is, and we talked about, is like, we don't care how much money you make. We care how real can you be. And when you come into the room, you take off all the fucking armor, all your identity, and you become part of the brotherhood. You become part of what we do. So
that's super important.
From your experience, like, what made you think that you could be the billionaire? Like, what was the program? Because I'm interested to see, what was your belief system? Because, like, when people say I want to be a billionaire, it's like, that's a wish. But for you, it's a done deal.
I'm done. I'm already there. I'm at the door already.
So what was that mindset? What was the identity? When did it shift for you?
Learning that the right person will give you the right opportunity, and going from $5 to $1 million. Learning that I could take a mom and pop cleaners that was only 3,500 square feet, and say, okay, my cleaner makes $500,000 in cash, another $3-4 million in. Those numbers with simple tweaks told me, if I could do that with that, imagine an app that's more scalable. A brick and mortar only has so much scale before you have to get a bigger place or change the dynamics of how it works. It may require more equipment, more employees. It's hard to scale because clothes are easy to lose, get destroyed in machines. It's tough. So you have to, with cleaners, you want to grow to a certain percentage, and not so much where you start losing clothes and your reputation gets really bad. But an app, technology, it goes into the millions. And why? Because it's not a physical person. It could be done with 25 people. It could be done with 10 people. It could be done with 3 people. That's the thing about technology. Like, your app, it holds accountability for your whole team. So it moves you from you doing it all yourself before you have a breakdown, and says, this is how we keep ourselves in touch. And then we have our groups. So we could talk about things that are affecting us, whether it's at home, whether it's the job, whatever it is. Once we get here, it's us to talk. There's no women where you feel embarrassed. It's just us. So if we need to cry, you're between your brothers.
100%.
And men need that.
Yeah.
Men don't have a home. There's not enough organizations for men to say, can I grow there? I am a 6-figure man and I have no place to cry. Where does a 6-figure man go?
And at the end of the day, there is power of feeling that pain. Because one of the frameworks that we talk about in the program is, how do you turn pain into fuel? How do you turn that fire into production? So walk us through, I should say, the process for you when you've had people say, no, I'm not going to invest with you. I'm not gonna, like, when people doubted you, when people
God.
they scounter you for being, who you are, and they kind of like
the biggest, stay in your lane.
because you're coming from a dry cleaning to a
Yeah,
tech,
they're like,
and
bro,
you're
stay
trying
in
to
your
raise
lane.
capital.
And here's the thing, you will get more no's from your personal friends than strangers.
So how did you deal with it? How did you process that?
I think my mentor told me one day, he says, listen, if I told you you were 1,000 no's away from that yes you needed, would you be okay with that? I'm about 425 no's right now, so I'm in good shape. I'm getting close to that 1,000. It is, at first, I think the first 100 no's are so depressing that you're like, what the fuck did I get myself into? I should have stayed in the dry cleaning business. But then when somebody says, I'm willing to put 200,000, you're like, how does he see it? How does he see it with no problem? And then another person comes, hey, I wanted to take out 50,000 on my 401. I'm like, are you sure you want to do it? Yeah, I'm sure. Your energy tells me, well, you're going to get there. And then you look back and there's 20, 38, 39 people and you got to 1 million. And you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, now
I raised $1 million.
Now it's on.
Now that tells me, if there is 39 people that believe in me, then there's another 1 million out there that will.
Yeah.
And that now you can't stop me.
So that is important to highlight, that the belief system is reinforced by people who see the vision. That's what's important for us, to get together with people who are visionaries. Because you said
Even you coming down,
yeah.
that's another reassures me that you believe I have a great product. You downloaded the app. You tried it with me. You didn't have to. You got your own technology. You have an amazing product. You don't have to support, but you did. So why would I back down now?
It reminds me when I started, you asked me how long I've been doing this. I said like for a decade, right? So the last 10 years I've been putting the foundation. My first event, I put an event in Las Vegas. And it was my first, training, personal development. And I remember the second day, you know how these things go. You have to make an offer. You have to offer like a coaching or something. I didn't know what I was going to do. So I said, I want you to be part of my inner circle. Like now my inner circle pays me, multiple six figures. Back then, it was 25,000. And I was scared shitless, Hugo, to say like, be part of my inner circle with $25,000 a year, this and that, right?
But you knew your value.
But see, the next day, there was one guy who came in. He was running. And I'm like, oh, she said, Raul, I need to talk to you. And I thought he was pissed that I made the offer. Like, how dare you, think that you're gonna be worth $25,000? Comes to me and says, Raul, I'm gonna tell you something. I know you don't know what you're doing, but I believe in you. And he gave me a check for $25,000. At that moment, I was like, oh shit, same thing as you. Like, oh shit, this was gonna be my first and last event, all right? Because nobody else but him believed. But if I look back, if he didn't give me that $25,000, if he didn't believe in me, you and I would not be sitting together, because I would have stayed in my real estate company. I would have stayed on my lane. I needed one person at least to say, hey, I believe in you. He sold a company just recently, a couple of years, for $50 million. Very good friends. But we always talk about the importance, and he was Latino too. He was Ecuadorian. We met in a Tony Robbins event, as a matter of fact, and we hit it off.
That's amazing.
So it's important for you to believe in people. Because he told me, Raul, because I invested, and he wasn't worth millions of dollars at that moment. He gave me $25,000, and he said his net worth was like only a couple $100,000. But he said, because I believed in you, what I was really saying is I believe in myself too. So then, when he saw me growing, he's like, shit, I need to double down too. So he grew as I grew, and that's where a lot of Latinos, they think if I invest in you, it's just for you. No, if you invest in people, God is always going to compensate you, because energy goes around. If I invest in you, somebody's going to invest in me, and then that's where the energy flows, the currency.
That's exactly how it happened. And, it's so important for Latinos to understand, being Latino is not enough for you to invest in my app. But look at it, compare it to Zoom, compare it to Teams, compare it to Wizen, Fiverr, Upwork, and say, and if I don't have a superior product better than them, then I will understand. But I know that I do. And that you can't take away from me, because my team is the best at this. I'm not building overseas.
You have proof of concept,
yep.
And you have people already in the app, and you actually have had offers of people. Like, so tell us, without disclosing the names, obviously.
I've had people offer to buy the app.
What was the first offer that you had?
I won't say because there was an NDA signed, but it was nice. I would have been set up really nice for the next, until I die. I'm 56, I would have been good.
So they give you a check and you were like, man, this is life-changing. I don't have to do anything. I could just cruise around the world with my wife and just chill. But what made you say no? Because I have a lot of people right now that I'm coaching that they're in the same situation. Raul, should I sell? Should I stay?
So
should
for
I
me,
build?
on a personal level, for me, being Latino, being where I came from, never went to school. If I sell, all you'll see is a really nice car driving by and not know my journey and know that you can do it. But if I keep it and make it the $1 billion that I will make it, then you'll say, he did it with no education. I actually have an education. So then there'll be hundreds of Latinos or thousands that'll be billionaires next. And it won't be because I sold. It'll be because I stuck to my guns. I believed in it, and they believed in me. So for me, it's important. Latino is not the benchmark. But it is important to understand there is no Latino CEO that has a $1 billion company in tech. Maybe we have it in other stuff, or there's a couple of Mexico billionaires and stuff in other countries. But find me a Puerto Rican. And find me one in tech. Because that I want to see. Because I want to mimic him. I want to learn more from him.
You know, what you said before was important, that Latinos have been conditioned to be consumers, not to be creators.
70% of the population is Latino and we're consumers? Make that make sense to me. How come we don't own our own Instagram in Latino? How come Latinos don't have a Latino Instagram?
You know, I thought WhatsApp was Latino. Because WhatsApp, I would say a lot of WhatsApp. I thought when I heard the WhatsApp, I was like, hey, that's a Latino company.
And Meta owns it now.
Yeah. But see, this is where I believe that we are in a very crucial moment in time where you have to add value into the marketplace. And by adding value to the marketplace, the market will dictate where it's going to go. Because, like, look, TikTok, again, going back to how you went viral in social media. It wasn't because you were Latino. It wasn't because because you were real and you were raw and you delivered and you added value. Because I saw that video. I'm like, man, I need to watch it again. I think I watched it a couple of times before I send you a DM and say, hey, man, keep doing what you're doing. But the fact that you were Latino connected us.
And that's important.
And that's
you
important
understand?
for Latino people to
Because you
understand.
recognize that as a Latino. Hey, this is Latino doing something.
Exactly.
And that's
Support
what I
the
want to
people.
express. You know, you picked it up quick. Like, he's Latino. And look, he wasn't talking about $1 trillion. He's talking about how to do it with hard work. 30 million views talking about dry cleaning is a little ridiculous. I'll be honest with you. It's a little ridiculous. But it wasn't the dry cleaning. It's the fact that everybody that saw that video may have a regular job. Maybe just a lawyer. May not be in the position you're in, that you've been doing this 10 years. But may decide to do it now because they saw that video.
Yeah, and that's what I think, is important for you to highlight to the audience. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter how, because how old are you?
I'm 56.
56 in tech. Because people think, oh, I'm 50, already peak. No, you're just getting started.
I'm warming
man.
up.
You're just getting started. You're taking all the excuses. I have a teacher that says fuck excuses, all right? So you're taking excuses of education.
I gotta get one of those.
You take excuse of the age. You take excuse of your ethnicity. So yeah, I'm gonna give you the t-shirt, man. I wish you would have brought it, the fuck excuses t-shirt, because that's what you're representing. Fuck excuses. If you have a vision, if you have a dream, if you have something that you believe in, put it in the market. Like, double down.
You know what? Latinos more than ever, and they're not getting it. With technology today is the best time to get in. Get into something, because with ChatGPT, it can improve your company. With this AI, with this video, you can shoot to the moon. In fact, if you have community, whether that's 100 people, 10,000, you know what's 100 people investing $1,000 in you? That's 100K. Imagine this, right? You win the real estate game, right? You know a lot of brokers, right? And you have a community, 300, 400. Imagine everybody came at 10,000. How many buildings can you buy? You make an SPV, special purpose vehicle, you run the company, you look for the buys, and now there's a return for everybody. Now you have 10 million in capital to buy every month, because these guys are just putting $1,000, $12,000.
Power of community.
Community is the only way you're going to make it.
And that's why I see what I've done in the last 10 years. I've invested millions of dollars building the community. Because once you meet the guys that I have, we have solid guys that believe in what we do, that believe in what we teach, that believe in leadership, that believe in being better fathers, better husbands, better entrepreneurs. But people look at it, oh, Raul, you got lucky. No. I put my time, my money,
10
and
years,
energy.
Huh? 10
and,
years, lucky, huh?
You know, so the same thing with you is that people are like, oh, he got lucky with the tech. No, you paid your dues. Now you're doubling down.
And think about paying dues, right? I'm the CEO and one of the founders. What about my guys? They put themselves on the line. My COO comes from Facebook. She left Facebook after 13 years. Her salary was at least half. Why would you leave
that's
Facebook?
big. That's big. If they see the vision and they see the potential.
When she told me, and she helped me for 3 years before she left Facebook. She was my mentor. She said, you know why I'm leaving Facebook? Because I can take you IPO, but at bare minimum, I can sell you back to LinkedIn and Google for that number you want, 1.2 billion. She goes, for my app to be $1 billion app, it's not this big. I need 1 million, 100,000.
So tell us a little bit about it, because I want to help you get there fast. All right.
So
tell us, what does the app do? So the people who are listening to this, download the app. I'm going to put a link here in the video to download the app to play with it. What does it do?
Well, what makes Moti special is think about Wisen, the tutoring app. Think about Upwork and Pfizer, where you can find an expert and you could pay him to get on. The problem with those apps is that they use AI. You can't even send your personal number. The problem with those apps, they don't pay daily. They pay either bi-weekly or monthly. And then the bigger problem is that they want 25 to 30% of your earnings. That's not Moti. And Moti, you can go into messaging and you can send your personal number and say, hey, I don't like the app. Can we get off? I want you to stand Moti because you love it, not because I used an AI and took your customer from you. That's not the reason I want your Moti.
So the app allows people to connect with each other.
We're professionals.
And pay for their time, whatever you choose to pay.
At
by the minute, by the hour?
By the minute.
By the minute.
Within the call, you can upsell products. Extending the call, they have to pay. And in messaging, you can make financial transactions. So there's 4 ways to pay. If we scheduled an hour and it's going to go over an hour, it will tell me in the last minute, hey, Hugo, the call is going to end. Would you like to extend another 15 minutes at this rate? As soon as me as the customer press, it'll go to you and say, hey, Raul, Hugo wants an additional 15 minutes. It's another $400. Do you want to accept it? You extend the time.
So that way, people understand that, it's no more like trying to get a hold of celebrities or experts and, asking for a favor. Do you have a minute? Do you have a minute? Like, people are busy. Nobody has a minute. But if I'm in the app and I have a fee, whatever it is, and if you want to take my time,
you pay for it.
You pay for it. At the same time, because I don't think nothing is for free. Like, we get, free.
How many
it has a
DMs
cost.
can you answer?
Yes, and it's not, like, if I give out my time for free, like, it's not value for you because you're going to discount it. You're going to discount my time and you're going to discount my value. So I believe that you got to pay for everything. And, bartering, we talked about, before, like bartering, like exchange value, right? So that's what I love the app, because tell us what Moti stands for, because you told me that the first time we met.
It's an acronym between money and time. So I always say Moti stands for money on time instantly.
I love it. Money on time instantly.
Because it's Stripe.
Yeah.
So just like you have an Uber account, you have Stripe. And think about Uber. Think about Uber Money. You get an Uber right now in Manhattan. You're going to Brooklyn. What do you get? You get the car. That's Moti, right? It tells you the driver. That's your coach. It tells you the price and time. What's the difference between Uber and Moti? You see, that's not too much of a difference.
Yeah. And that way people understand that there is experts there that have been vetted and they're going to get paid. And then you could actually also be in that app and
grow your brand.
And grow your brand. Because that's all. These apps, like Facebook doesn't pay you. Instagram doesn't pay you. LinkedIn doesn't pay you. But then all of us, we're putting in content in there, right, to connect. I think that
and there's no conversion. You're putting all this content, and then your conversion is, say, a DM on Instagram. Hey, you think you got 5 minutes? I actually do. I'm Moti. Here's my profile. Add me.
Because this is the moment, and I see more apps, kind of like looking at what you're doing probably and coming up more because they see the opportunity. This is the creator economy.
Here goes the thing. The problem is they're going to try to do what I do, but they collect heavy data where I collect just enough to onboard you. When so Moti has a record feature. When you record on Moti, it records directly to your device.
It doesn't record in your server?
No, it records directly to your device. It doesn't go to AWS. Then you have to download it. It doesn't do none of that. We want you to keep everything. If you look at our video, it's not watermarked, right? Because you have a brand. Your video should be marked with your brand. Moti is about giving you the power. It's not about us taking it. It's about saying, I do consulting, I do coaching, I needed to have a calendar, I need to be paid. I sometimes don't need a call, he just needs to send me payment on messaging. It's everything, every option, and more to come. We want to put crypto. Why? Because we know in the Philippines alone, there's 12 million people that do virtual services, but they don't have American banking. So with crypto, we open that door for them, where they don't have to pay an agency 30 or 50% of their earnings because they're sending a Western Union anyway.
I saw a video from Mr. Beast talking to Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook. He said, Mr. Beast's audience, the majority don't speak English. They speak a different language, and Spanish is a big one. And it talks about how, like right now, like when we look at social media, we think, just the United States. No, this is worldwide. Like there's billions of people. So is Moti in the process of going worldwide?
Right now, we're probably in like 50 different countries.
Awesome.
But the challenge is, right, they all have different payment system.
So that's where the crypto comes in.
That's where we circumvent that issue. Because the reality, trying to load up 20 different banks and stuff, it will become challenging. But if you simplify with crypto, crypto today is like the American dollar. And it makes it easier for people because in those countries, they're more advanced than us on crypto than in the United States because they've been using it. They figured out how to shop, how to buy, how to get food with it, everything. So to have it on Moti, it's actually providing them the service, the video, the messaging, the calendar, and then they could get paid directly. Imagine this, right? I was speaking to some virtual assistants from the island of Iloilo in the Philippines. And it was a company with just 100 workers on it. And I said, yo, just out of curiosity, how much you guys get paid? He goes, well, I get paid $300 a month. He goes, it's just really good over here to get paid. I said, but how much do they get paid for? He goes, oh no, the company gets $1,500 for me a month. So out of $1,500 you're getting for this employee, you only give them $300. Yeah. And this is the thing. It's not like they're getting $300 and it's easy. The whole company is running through WhatsApp, Zoom, and different apps. So even the customer is getting the worst experience. How is that possible? Tell me in today's time, why are you providing such a shitty experience and then taking 80% of somebody's salary?
So now you created the tech that allows them to go one-stop shopping.
I'm going to disrupt the system.
And that's how you're disrupting the system with Zoom, disrupting the system with social media, disrupting the system with getting paid.
People need three things on video. There is chances that you're on video, you're doing some type of consulting, and somebody needs to get paid. Imagine your lawyer, right? A law firm, they charge by the hour, right? But imagine you're only on 45 minutes. That extra 10 minutes at $15 a minute is an additional $150. Does that make sense to you? Moti doesn't allow that. If it's 45 minutes, the lawyer got paid appropriate. You know how much that can save you? Not as the lawyer, if the lawyer don't want, but as the client.
Yeah.
And when you tell your lawyer, hey, I want to pay you through here.
Yeah.
Why? Because if I do 32 minutes, I want to pay you for 30. I don't want you rounding up to 45. And for a lawyer, he should be happy. You know why? He's doing less billing every month. He's getting it on the spot.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's a win-win because he probably has more reach. So tell the audience right now, what's your next step? Are you raising capital?
I am raising capital. At the present moment, I can't say who I'm raising with, but I'm still raising private on a safe. I'm trying to raise an additional 1.4 million. 400 is going to go into marketing. And people say, is it to promote the app? No, it's to promote the people in the app. The coaches, the nutritionists, the dermatologists, the influencer. I don't need to promote the app no more. I need to promote my talent that's in the app. The other million is going for the additional features, tying all the calendars together, crypto, teleprompter, just cool stuff to make the app so robust that you want to stay in there. Our live, we're building a live. It's interesting, right? You go on Instagram Live, there's no return. But what if you went on a Moti Live for a private class for your company? And everybody bought a ticket.
And then you start getting the reach.
Small little masterclass. But a little masterclass, people that don't know yet the company and say,
exactly.
You know what, it's a $25 ticket. I want to learn more. I want to go in. Then your class not for $25. Now they call you back and say, hey, I'm in. What is it for yearly? I was inspired. I saw the team. I'm a man and I don't have no place to go. I do 6 figures and I'm basically home by myself trying to figure shit out. I want to be part of a community. And think about your community. Yeah. Communities, 6-figure people, 7-figure people. There's other deals made there also.
100%.
This is just not the Boy Scouts here. There are multimillionaires saying, hey, what are you doing? I'm interested in that. Let's do something together. I'm
excited. I'm excited to contribute with you. I want to encourage every single one of the guys who are watching this to download the app. Make sure you download the app, play with it, become a creator in it. But most important, also support creators. support, people who have a vision, who have a dream. So I'm going to put your contact information here so they could send you an email.
That
if
would
they
be
wanna,
amazing.
Inquire about the investment that you're raising and inquire about how can they get in the app. Want to make sure that people reach out to you as much as they can here.
That's amazing.
Brother, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, my
You're
brother.
a badass.
No, thank you for having me. I can't wait to be in your event. That's what I was just telling my wife. Yo, he has an event coming up. I'm in there. I said, you can't go, but I'm going.
Love it. Excellent. All right. So if you got value from this video, make sure you click here and subscribe. Until next time, learn it, live it, experience it, love life. If you're ready to find the edge, go to kingscodebook.com to get the latest copy of my book, The King's Code. This book will help you find the clarity, the certainty, and the purpose that you need in order for you to lead with power. Go to kingscodebook.com and find your code to the edge now.